point I'm trying to make is, and what I want to encourage you to do is, know and expect that you are going to be experiencing opposition. And the more struggles and opposition that you work through and lean into and endure, the sweeter the fruit, the more abundant the fruit at the end of that process. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Inge, and if you are new here, I am a faith-based coach focusing on growth mindset, sharing all things coaching on how to cultivate our minds in a learning and continuous growth trajectory to align ourselves to the mindset of Christ. If you have not picked up from my accent, I am based in South Africa, and can I tell you, summer is summering right now here by us. And forgive me that I am not wearing a jacket or just more covering. So please do bear with me. This video is, again, like some of my other videos that I do, a bit more conversational. I do encourage you to check out my latest series called Fruit of the Spirit in the Marketplace. I have started up a playlist here on my YouTube channel, but I've done a bit more sort of in-depth content sharing on LinkedIn. That is my more preferred style of communicating long form written content. But as thoughts do pop up, and just to kind of expand a little bit more, I do also find that video-based content does help a lot and just adds a little bit to the diversity. So that being said, I do have my phone in front of me. I've got a few notes that I've jotted down, so I would be navigating on there. So part of the Fruit of the Spirit in the Marketplace series, I do hope that what it ends up doing is encouraging you to be a bit more mindful of just how you conduct yourself, how you interact with people, because I think at the end of the day, as a faith-based professional, we are called to stand out. We are called to be people that create impact that matters. That we are people who do things differently. There needs to be a sense of, I don't want to say an air of mystery around us, but if we do things right, there needs to be opportunities where somebody actually walks up to us or approaches us and say, there's something different about you. What is it exactly? And that is part of the fruit of the Spirit, and that is what it should be doing if we do it properly. Now, life happens, and we are all in different levels of maturity in our faith walk. So I would say that this video specifically is aimed at two broad categories of people. So the one is if you're fairly new in your faith walk, and you have not really encountered the enemy in full-on warfare, then you might be, I don't want to say dumbfounded, but you might feel a little bit discouraged at you facing challenges all of a sudden, or facing quite a bit of opposition in a work environment, or even as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, because of that conscious choice that you made to actually walk seriously in your faith walk. So once that shift happens, rest assured, you are going to start experiencing an upheaval. in your life, you are going to experience quite a bit of opposition, because now all of a sudden you are posing a threat to your enemy. The other group of people, the other category is perhaps you've been walking with the Lord for quite a long time. And as with all relationships, things ebb and they flow. And it might be that there's been a period where there's been a lull in the walk, where you might have been experiencing a little bit of lukewarmness. Again, life happens, pressures of the work environment happen. Your faith walk has not been as steadfast and as dedicated as you would have liked it to be. So when I say that, what I mean is be consistent in quiet time, be consistent in studying scripture, be consistent and resolute in following and obeying the precepts and the ordinances that are outlined in the Bible, that's outlined in scripture. Now, again, I'm saying if you are really impacted and inspired by some of the content that I am sharing, I am hoping and praying that it actually switches on a light, and what it does is that it moves you back into a state of intentionality to actually follow and walk in full obedience to God. And so again, you making that shift doesn't mean that you are starting to rise up as an opponent to the enemy. So even then, also you might experience challenges and strong opposition. And so I think in pictures and analogies, and that's just kind of how my brain works. So on the one hand, I am painfully nerdy, and on the other hand, it's a party, right? I've got pictures and all kinds of crayon drawings going on the other side of my brain. And somehow it comes together and it works. So, that being said, there is just, I think, I want to highlight a bit of a caution to you. And so, as you follow me on this journey where we are unpacking the fruit of the Spirit and what they look like, what are the behavior anchors within the marketplace, because that essentially is my main audience. That is my field that I've been called to labor in. So when you decide to become a bit more serious of really walking the talk, right? Becoming more serious about what you do, what you say, that it is in full obedience and alignment with what God has or what God requires you to do. And sometimes it might flow along with what's required of you in your work environment or how you operate as a business. And there might be times where there could be a conflict in terms of what the policies are or what the requirements are in the work or business environment versus what you are mandated or how you are mandated to walk. And in a previous video, I was talking about spiritual resistance training. And I'll try and link the video in the description box below, as well as, I forgot to mention this, all of my other detail or information. If you would like to connect with me, if you would like to work with me, As a growth mindset coach, I do invite you to reach out. Doesn't matter where you are based in the world, we can do the coaching journey virtually or online, or even face to face if you are based here in South Africa. So, when it comes to spiritual resistance training, what I want to, and warning might be a bit of a too serious of a term to use, but I want to highlight to you and make you aware. I want to make you aware of the fact that once you make a conscious decision, know that you are going to experience opposition. And understand that you being faith-based, you being a born-again believer, born-again Christian, we do not fight against flesh and blood, right? Our enemy, our opponents sits in the spiritual realm. So what might look like a colleague or a client opposing you or challenging you, understand that there is something spiritual sitting behind that. So I want to create this awareness for you that as you decide to take seriously the mandate and the commission that God has set out for all of His children in the fields or in the areas where He has planted them, and for you, it happens to be in the marketplace. Understand that that opposition coming up against you is meant to strengthen you. So this is actually something that my dad shared with me, and I didn't know, and I just thought, wow, that's actually quite a profound piece of information. And so how my brain works is I'm picking up on all of these things and conversations that I have with people, and I'm thinking, wow, that's a very good coaching nugget to keep in my back pocket. And so here it is. So the coaching nugget that I'm wanting to utilize is that my parents has got a grapevine draped on a banister, and what he has been doing to strengthen the different branches in order for him to drape or wind the branches all along the length of the banister is to allow it to just sort of blow in the wind. And I asked him one day, why, isn't he scared that the branch might break? And what he said to me was that the wind actually causes the vine to strengthen itself. So by allowing the wind to kind of blow it about, it strengthens. And eventually it also starts developing bark, right? To strengthen it even further. And yes, there might be some branches that might not be able to withstand the severity of the wind, and they might break. But they are the ones who endure. They are the ones who actually work with the momentum of the wind to strengthen it. If you make a conscious decision to work on cultivating either all fruit of the Spirit, or there might be one or two that okay, you need some work there. For example, you might believe that you need a bit of work with long suffering or patience. So understand, when you make the decision and when you ask God to actually help you in that area, God will allow situations and people to come in your space to test your patience. And that's a good thing. And in that same video, I also made mention of don't jump off the surgeon's table prematurely. So I want to encourage you, lean in to the opposition, lean into the challenge, and ask God to give you the grace, to give you the strength to endure. And He'll do that. Okay? All of this it's part of the process of becoming stronger and more mature and actually building that spiritual muscle within you. And the more struggles and opposition that you work through and lean into and endure, the sweeter the fruit, the more abundant the fruit at the end of that process. So, as you decide to become more committed in your faith walk, I want to remind you of making sure that you are fortifying your camp. Because as you are stepping out, taking up the mandate that God has placed upon your life in the form of His purpose in your life, in the form of certain assignments in your life, I want to encourage you to make sure that you stay armored up, that you always be mindful to ask and pray that God gives you mercy and grace to withstand, to endure. Because yes, this battle is going to exhaust you. And it's going to be easy to want to give up. But please do not give up. Because if you decide to give up, you are going to start right back at the starting position and you're going to have to go through all of this again. So it is better to lean in. It is better to push through and allow the test and the challenge, allow the wind blowing around you to strengthen your branches, to strengthen you as the vine. And you will come through as a conqueror, as a victor in this process. I do hope that this video has encouraged you, that it has inspired you to keep up the good fight of faith, no matter where God has planted you. And lean in, lean in. Use the momentum of the challenges and the struggles to build up your strength, to build up your endurance. If you have not done so yet, do connect with me on my other social media platforms. Like I said, I am more active on LinkedIn, but also getting more active on Instagram, Facebook. But you can find all of my links in the description box. And looking forward to seeing you again here on the YouTube streets.